Alright, so welcome back. Hoping you guys are having a fabulous day here today. First off, just so you know, guess what? Yes, the end of year is almost here. We're currently on the 21st of the month. Get ready. On basically Sunday, we get our teasers, which we're on Wednesday, right? So we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then boom, the teasers start. If they do it, last year, remember what happened? They did like an entire hypo for Melee. So if this year is Melee, which most likely it is, and I will show you why and I'll talk about it, and there is a problem. If they do make it Melee, there is a problem with it, and I want to see your opinion on it. I'm genuinely curious because I see that there is hype, obviously, around Melee. It's freaking Meliodas. It has to be hyped, but will this affect you, and what do you think, right? So with it, let's jump into it. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. Let's talk about it. Let's have some fun. So first thing, on the reason of why I'm saying it is, in fact, going to be Meliodas, it's two things, right? So first, we just got an entire thing, which is Danafor Liz, right? We literally just got Danafor Liz. Now, if you've seen it, every single year, okay, there would, like, Assault Meliodas, it was Danafor Liz into Assault Meliodas. Before that, it was Danafor Liz into Trader Meliodas. Now it's Danafor Liz into what, okay? If we use the theory of, you know, it happened last time, has to happen this time, it's mainly a thing. Now remember, this is like a thing off of a, what's the word? Schedule, or a system, or a flow. It's, if it happened last year, let's keep it the same. It worked in the past, it'll work again. That's how they work, right? So with it, if you look at it, it's in multiple areas. They always do the same thing. And like this year was really mimicking that of last year and some years prior. Just some things were different, being a new collaboration. Some things were a little bit different, but mainly it follows suit, okay? What they did last year is what they did this year. That's how it went in a lot of this year's festival stuff and a lot of this year's events. So just keep that in mind. That's kind of how it happens, right? And again, the second piece of evidence is basically this, right? So every year you get 2 Meliodases. That's just how it kind of worked. Over here, we got a Meliodas in March. We then proceeded to get the Meliodas. I think we got like a Halloween Meliodas before this also. But when we reached this year, this like New Year Fez, we had Assault Meliodas. So this year had 2 Meliodases, right? Then you go into 2021 and you did get 2 Meliodases. One of them being Lost Fin Meliodas in June, and then you proceeded to get another Meliodas right here in December, which is the Dark Festival Meliodas. So again, that was 2 Meliodases. This was 2 Meliodases. Now, 2022, we only had 1 Meliodas, which, by the way, I have no idea why this list does not include it, but it was between Brunhild and Freyr, and that was going to be Champion Meliodas. Remember this garbage, weird thing of a Meliodas? Yes, you got this year, which only marks the 1 Meliodas, but you see by precedent, they always do 2 Meliodases. That's always how it's been. They haven't done anything below because, again, he's the main character. They have to give, you know, Meliodas hype, that's how it is. So most likely they have to follow suit and then proceed to give you a new Meliodas, right? Whether that is a dark or a light, I can't tell, or if it's like on the normal color wheel being a red, green, or blue, we don't know. But off of precedent of everything adding up to this thing, it should be a Meliodas. So again, we'll see what happens there, but you clearly see it's 2 Meliodases a year. Our second Meliodas is in here, plus our first Meliodas of the year was so turd that you need a second one, right? So with it, most likely it is Meliodas, in some format of Meliodas, okay? Now, the first thing, if they follow things and do it properly, it might be this Demon King Meliodas that did drop in the latest chapter, which makes a lot of sense. So, the first problem, if it is this Meliodas, I genuinely wonder how they're gonna do it, because you currently have Meliodas in the game being a broken Meliodas. There's one Meliodas that exists, Trader Meliodas. So again, you currently have this Meliodas in the game. Again, there are other Meliodases, obviously speaking. You have, let's just search Meliodas, right? There are a bunch of Meliodases, okay? That's fine. It's perfectly understandable because it's 7 Deadly Sins, okay? Meliodas is popular. It's every game, every gacha game is like that. The main character is always pretty popular, so that's always going to be the thing. Again, you have this Meliodas. Assault Meliodas is alright. He just works on the Esterosa team, but mainly this Meliodas, right? And with this Meliodas, this is where the entire problem kicks in. It's that Trader Meliodas was so freaking good, right? He was such a good character, and literally, he's on like majority of people's teams right now. In like majority of the content, PvE, PvP, he just exists. He floats around. He lasts forever. He just He just somehow like works. Okay, so overall, Trader Meliodas is a broken, game-changing Meliodas. Now, you have a new Meliodas release, right? And they're always going to draw the comparison. People are always going to draw the comparison that you have Trader Meliodas. Now, how does this unit compare? That Meliodas, the new one, has to be so freaking broken to where he can replace Trader Meliodas in some things, okay? I'm not saying replace Trader Meliodas in all areas, just he has to top him. That's all he has to do, right? And that is a pretty hard feat to kind of manage. something this new Meliodas has to do that buffs Estarossa, that makes that team like super broken, and maybe he's a PvP only character. But the reason, again, Trainer Meliodas was so good, he was PvE and PvP. Are they going to make this one lean only PvP? Are they going to make him lean PvE? How are they going to handle him? And then again, the entire thing breaks down to it that what are they going to do with his name, right? Is he going to be the same Meliodas, and you can only have one of these Meliodas on the team? Or because he's like the Demon King Meliodas, he's not exactly Meliodas, so you can have multiple of him on the team. You can have that Meliodas, the new one, and this Trainer Meliodas. Are they going to do it that way? Again, we speculate that this Meliodas, the one that was in the current chapter, that might be the one this year. Again, people were seeing like True Form Meliodas, but if you think True Form Meliodas is the Meliodas, then that's like a whole other problem in itself, because you're choosing the last Meliodas that exists to put in the game right now. That means that you're screwed. You just screwed up all the hype in this game will ever have, because you just got rid of your biggest hitter right now. So if there's anything beyond Demon King Meliodas, it's screwed, for the reason that, like, dude, what the hell? You just released Escanor, the ultimate one, the final Escanor possible, and now you're proceeding to release the greatest melee, the final melee. Why? Why would you ever do that, right? So if that does happen, panic and think the game is going downhill, because no way you'd release your biggest hitter right now. Like, you have to save that. Otherwise, no one's like, oh, now there's something to save for. I just got the greatest melee in the game. Why would I play the game beyond this point? I've succeeded in getting the best character, right? Again, if it's not melee, they might also go down the route of doing Tristan. Imagine they do that. I wouldn't be shocked, but let's see how that goes. They could get away with anything. Again, the only other height festival they could kind of manage is Mael. It's just, again, if you look at it, it's precedent. It is Meliodas. It should be Meliodas. Now, how would they manage it? Trainer Meliodas is kind of broken. How would they do that? What attribute would they follow too, right? Think about it. This is currently a dark unit. Will this new dark melee be or this new Demon King melee be a dark unit? Will it be a light unit? Will it be a red, blue, green? How are they going to also manage that? If they make it a dark unit, you know, right after freaking just Light Festival, people are screwed. People are going to be in like a panic mode. If they make it a light unit, you just release 3 light units back to back or in 1 year. That's insane. You then choose to do red, green, or blue. How good will it be, right? So again, light and dark units are just known to be broken. That's how it is. Will this kind of suffice being a red, green, or blue? That's also the case, right? So again, they have to proceed to do this in a very nice and timely manner, to where it's like we release it here, where it's not like, you know, ages terribly. Trainer Meliodas took 1 year. He still hasn't fallen off. He is a broken unit, okay? How will this Meliodas compare? It'll always be compared. It will always be like, oh, I can just run Trainer Meliodas instead of this Meliodas. What's going to happen then? That's going to be the same point. So they have to properly handle this one. Otherwise, you know, why summon? You have Trainer Meliodas. He's also going to exist on the banner, right? So think about that now, that if it is Trainer Meliodas on the banner, it's like, I can just go for this Meliodas, which is way better, you know? It's a problem that will happen. And again, just so you know, when I do speak about it, like when I say like they could separate the names, they could, right? So they could do it how they did Liz, okay? Liz is basically Liz, but not Liz. Liz is Liz, and Elizabeth is Elizabeth. It's 2 separate Elizabeths, okay? Technically, this is just a reincarnation of Liz, right? The old one. But the new one is literally just the same freaking thing. They just chose to separate it, right? This would be a good idea to separate it. Again, yes, you have to craft a new UR set, all of that has to happen. But what happens is, you can use that character on the same team as this character, right? So it would be cool, it would work, it would kind of add up. Again, it's not exactly Meliodas, because the Demon King took over the body, right? We know this. Spoiler, okay? Suck it. You should know this by now. There's no way you don't know this by now. Literally, you have to know this by now. I hope you know this by now. But yes, that's what happens, right? So when that happens, they could easily get away with marketing it as 2 separate units, and that would be a really good way to do it. I think so, right? Because you then have the ability to use this melee and other things, and you won't exactly compare the 2 Meliodases, right? You'll be like, oh, this Meliodas is so broken, but I could just, you know, go for this one that can work on every team, is better. It's not going to swap out this Meliodas. There's no, like, they're not stepping on each other's toes. They're separate things, right? So again, that also happens. And if the Annie does exist to be anything other than what I just said, if it is Mael, if it is Tristan, if it is like Gelda, the freaking Annie Gelda, I don't know, they could do anything, right? So when it comes down to it, most likely it should be a Meliodas, but if it isn't, you can look forward to seeing Mael. You can look forward to seeing one of these units. Maybe like Nunchuck Bond, the one where he gets a secret treasure. Could be that too. It's anything. It could literally be anything. So have your options open. But again, I do lean it on being a Meliodas. And if it is a Meliodas, I hope they handle it correctly. They don't jump ahead in story, doing the newest, like the literal last Meliodas possible, and then proceeding to ruin the game, because you just released the final Escanor. There's no point in doing the final Meliodas. Otherwise, then the game is like screwed, because there's nothing else to save for, right? If they do it where they do Dark, or is it Demon King Meliodas, it's just they have to handle him nicely to where, like, maybe, again, he could be a little bit better than the other Meliodas, or just on par, okay? They work in two separate things. They can work on the same team. There's some sort of aspect of it to where you don't have to get rid of Trainer Meliodas, right? You just have this Meliodas exist in some capacity, and they work hand in hand. That could be a thing. That's what I want to happen, but we'll see. They have to do it right. Again, you let me know if I'm just complaining and talking out the air here, or it's like, it does make sense, like, oh, damn, they could do that. They could make this garbage. That other Meliodas is just, you know, far superior. What's going to happen? That we'll have to find out, right? Because, again, you see it, Ultimate Escanor kind of nuked the one Escanor. He's just a better version. That's how it is. You know, at the end of the day, will this be the same way? Will this not be the same way? How will it work? That's the entire thing to break down. With that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. Have one, stay safe. That's been for me. Peace out, enjoy, and yeah, just want to talk about that real quick.